Hello everybody, hope you're doing fantastically well. As you can see, I'm not at home here, I am in Poland. Yeah, I've come to Gdansk to get away from this show that is Leeds United. I'm smiling now. Yesterday, as my Manchester United and Manchester City housemates currently will tell you, I was absolutely raging, I was fuming, I was upset. Leeds United, the joke of the transfer window yesterday, and prevention is something that, we should always talk about in football, especially when it comes to transfer dealings. We all knew what should happen yesterday. Did it happen? Of course it didn't. You had essentially throughout the window, CDK binning us off, Callum Wendo binning us off, Cody Gakpo binning us off, and then yesterday, Bamba Dieng binning us off. An absolute embarrassment when you look at it collectively, but not surprising because you've got to prepare for these things. Leeds didn't prepare for these things. I had loads of content creators messaging me saying, Connor, how do you feel about this? Why don't you do a video? I didn't want to do a video because I was that raging last night. There was no point. So let's look at the entire span. Let's look at the spectrum of Leeds United now. For people who are still saying, oh, it's been an incredible window, I don't understand what you're smoking, I don't understand what you're sipping in your tea, there's something that's been dabbled in there. Listen, the window, what we saw yesterday has essentially made me really alter my thoughts on where Leeds United will finish this season, because we've got no backup, we've got no depth, we've got nothing up top. If Mark Rocker's injured in midfield, that even goes as far as saying if Tyler Adams is injured, you've got absolutely nothing as backup. You've got Adam Forshaw maybe clicking the DM, which never works, but that's in the central space. Left back, we think we're all right with Junior Firpo starting week in, week out. And then up front, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. It's an embarrassment. Rodrigo's probably going to be out for 4 weeks, which we predicted on the review show the other day, maybe 5 weeks. So that's an absolute shambles. Bamford is being nurtured back into it. He was on the bench the other day to boost Leeds United fans' hopes, but he's not fit. He's nowhere near match fitness. You can tell when he's on the ball. You can tell with how he is playing the game at the speed that Leeds United play. He's nowhere near match fitness. So that's an absolute joke in itself. So he's sporadically coming back. Joe Gelhardt is a sporadic player when it comes to injuries anyway. He's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. And as I say every single time on these chats, what is the point in having just one player really who you're relying on in Patrick Bamford? How they went about this entire window is a joke. It's an absolute joke. Joe Gelhardt's never got to 10 Premier League games starting, and now we're heavily reliant on the kid. I know there's got to be pressure on him, I understand, but there's so many parts of his game which still needs to evolve, which still needs to develop. He's nowhere near the finished article, in my opinion, to be starting week in, week out in the Premier League. But now there's a heavy reliance on him because we've got a crock of a striker in Patrick Bamford, who I don't know if he's ever going to get to his mercurial best when it comes to game time and scoring. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. With Rodrigo, who, listen, 10, 9, 9.5, 8. Listen, he's had a good start to the season, but we don't really know where he plays. He's sort of slipped back to what he was last season in the past couple of games, and that's it. But the board have had time to prepare for this, but they don't do it the easy way, do they? They were all cocky, they were arrogant at the start of the window. We've done our business, we've done it, and that was it, But now they've got to a point where they were panicking. They were looking at Joel Perreault last night from Swansea. Apparently they had late interest in Ben Brereton Diaz. The Cody Gakpo, they reignited their interest after the Rodrigo news. Why is this after the Rodrigo news? Why isn't this just done before? Because we know the patterns, we know the trends. Leeds United get injuries with those players. Why are the analysts not looking at the injury record last season of Rodrigo, of Joe Gelhardt, of Bamford, and thinking, hold on, that's going to happen again. That's going to happen again. So what we'll do is we'll prepare. We'll buy a striker, not on deadline day. We'll buy a striker beforehand, so they've got time to settle in. They've got time to play our way, and they're able to indoctrinate themselves into the Leeds United way a little bit better. But no, we're panicking on deadline day. We're throwing money at it. Apparently PSV were looking at 40 million. They saw Leeds coming and probably thought they are desperate. But that's because of preparation. That's because Leeds United weren't going into this window, with the right tools. So, and then what do? It gets even more embarrassing. Andrea Radrizzani starts tweeting fans. Someone just take that guy's phone off him, please. The owner of Leeds United. That's not what we want to be seeing. Tweeting fans saying, we're going for Bamba Dieng. Fair enough. Which he shouldn't really be saying that on social media, in my opinion. Anyway, welcome Bamba Dieng is what he said, and we're gonna be pressing for Cody Gakpo. Well, that's rubbish, because Cody Gakpo had already rejected Leeds at that point by serious trusted sources. He rejected Leeds, wants to stay at PSV Eindhoven, binned off the private jet and that Victor Orta had brought round, so he didn't want to come to Leeds. So Andrea Radrizzani's tweeting about 4 or 5 hours after the news broke that he was staying at PSV, that Leeds are still working hard. No, you weren't. You weren't working hard. You've been binned off. Right, so that had happened. Bamba Dieng then rejects Leeds United at the airport and goes to Nice, where he then fails a medical, which is his own drama in itself. But another player that rejects Leeds. Absolute circus. And then we get the final news that we go for Willian, who we were speaking about ages ago on the rumour mill. Apparently Leeds were interested. However, Jesse Marshall said in a press conference 2 weeks ago that if he was to come in, he'd go straight into the under-21s. So we haven't got a striker for now. We haven't got a Cody Gakpo. We haven't got a Bamba Dieng. We haven't got a Cali Mwendo. We haven't got a player of that ilk who can just seamlessly fit in and help Joe Gelhardt and help Patrick Bamford. We've gone and bought an 18-year-old who, yes, is in the Italy squad, but there is now so much pressure on this kid because he's the striker we've bought. Literally, the whole aspect of bringing him in January, apparently, which was the plan, was to feed him into the under-21s. So what now? Does he go into the under-21s again? Like all of the strikers we've bought over the past, year? Sonny Perkins, Matteo Joseph, Willian Onto now. Do we just buy strikers for the 21s or look at developing them? What about the here and now? What about Leeds staying in the Premier League, which is where we're at now, by the way, everybody? All people who are talking about Europe and top 10, it's not happening. It's not happening. And if it does, fair play. But that sort of squad depth is a joke. It's an absolute joke. And you wouldn't get any other Premier League team leaving it that late and being that negligent. So we haven't got a left back. Or if we have, we've got a left back who failed last season and wasn't good enough. We've got to believe in him. We've got to hope that he does better. Of course we do. But, the jury's still out on him. We've got Crocs up front, left, right and centre. And we've got no consistency up front at all. In the midfield department now, we are threadbare. We are threadbare if one of them gets injured, which will happen naturally. It always does seem to happen with Leeds United. And this isn't negative. I put a tweet out at the start of the day, right? Put a tweet out about Cody Gakpo. I said, it's too much money. It's too much money, which I don't think Leeds will front up, and it's too late in the deadline day to be going for such a big player, which Cody Gakpo is. Man United have been after him. Spurs apparently have had interest in him. Southampton have been putting bids in all week for him and working hard on him. Okay, it's too late in the day for Leeds to arrogantly just turn up and say, look, we're here, we want you, we'll fly out a private jet, bring your family back over. There's too much to be done. He scored a hat-trick the night before. He was playing the night before, for God's sake. So to prize him away from PSV, from European football, and say, look, we're Leeds, come play with us, here's the profile, here's the video that we always talk, that Leeds always go on about showing these players to come to Leeds, here's the crowd. That's not going to entice someone who was playing for PSV the night before, who is, who's been part of their setup for a long, long time now. Leeds needed to be working on this for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, not coming in last minute and going, hi, we're here, we'll pay the money, and shot Gakpo rejected us. I put that tweet out at the start, and fans were going, you're so negative. It's not negative, it's just realism. He's not just going to give up PSV, he's not going to give up everything that he's been part of for a club just coming in the last minute who finished 17th the season beforehand. What profile are we selling him? That's why with signings like that, with upper echelon signings, you have to be working on that. But no, Leeds arrogantly came in at the last minute and tried to work on it. The owner then tweets it out. God, it's just an absolute shambles. We were in the embarrassment yesterday. So great start to the window, buying in players like Mark Roca, Christensen, and the rest, obviously. But an absolute diabolical end to the window, which for me looks at the window and I think that's a 5.5 out of 10 for me. Pushing a 6, but pushing a 6. You've not got a striker, you've not got a replacement central defensive midfielder if anything goes wrong with those two who we've brought in, and you've not got a matching profile for Mark Roca, the distribution if he's injured. You've then also got no, so left back, central defensive midfield cover, you've got no strike cover at all. And the more embarrassing thing, which pulls the ratings even further down, is how we conducted ourselves yesterday, how the club conducted themselves yesterday. And I feel so sorry for Willian Onto, who now there is so much pressure on. He's 18 years of age. Yes, he's in the Italian squad. Yes, I'm going to back him. But to say we've brought him in for the here and now, it's an absolute abomination from Leeds United. It's not good enough. No other club worked like Leeds United yesterday. Look at any other club. It looks like a lot of clubs in the Premier League, maybe bar Leicester and bar a couple of others, have actually sorted out their real problem areas. And then Radrizzani had the gall, I should say, to tweet back this lad, this lad on Twitter who he tweeted beforehand and say, we're really happy with the signings we've made. Yeah, like we've heard all the time, all the BS with Kinnear, all the BS that we've heard through the socials as well, through journalists as well. We're really happy with the business. you're not really happy with the business, are you? Because you were panicking yesterday, and every single journalist on the continent, every single journalist in the country was saying Leeds have gone for him, Leeds have gone for him, Leeds have gone for him. You know, none of the profiles match, by the way. None of the profiles match CDK. They're all different profiles, the players that they were going for, which was bizarre in itself. So they were panicking. They were panicking yesterday, and they've left us in a very, very precarious, vulnerable position. Because let's see how long Bamford's injury free for. I don't know, is he match fit? Not in my opinion. And let's also see how long Joe Gelhardt, and I'm praying, touch wood, that he's okay and you know, he's able to get a consistent run. But let's see how long he's going to be in that first team starting for Leeds United. Shockingly handled yesterday. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Fascinated to hear what you think. There's not going to be a Brentford preview today. Obviously, Leeds play Brentford tomorrow. Make sure you check out BETMATE, guys. The code is going to be in the link. The link is going to be in the description below. How you get involved? It's a Leeds Brentford week. I'm going to be sorting out my team. It's going to be really exciting. You guys love the fantasy leagues. Well worth it. Loads of fun. Loads of ways to win money as well. And guys, shambles. But I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.